But what we do show is pretty rare and a lot of fun, and that's the whole point of this. It's meant to be fun. Even though I'm sweating like a pig in here. I am the Syrian intermission magician, and I will be back. We're going to be, I think we'll be starting the show in a few minutes. Thanks. I was flying to Manchester. It's actually Leeds to Manchester. So we got diverted into the Himalayas. And then there was this freak storm and we crashed near Shangri-La, close to Bristol and then London, Shangri-La. Anyhow, long story short, some Tibetan monks taught me this great psychic ability which I will now show you. So, hold on to the microphone, I can show on.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Those movies, right?
Yeah.
Bite-sized, but you get the idea.
Yep, pass it down.
Alright, and now, the magician.
Okay, so this is a little bit of audience participation, so I need somebody brave enough to come up here and I will read their mind. Who's coming up?
Why point at me?
Come on, one of you guys. Come on, somebody, come
Come
on.
on, anyone. Hey!
Philip. I don't know if that's going to be. Alright, Philip. What we've got here is a bunch of cards with film titles on them, graphic cards. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be able to, as long as Philip takes it seriously, right? Just look at my face. I have many skills, including, look, ladies and gentlemen, I speak with my lips do not move. Ooh. That's pretty incredible. Alright, Philip, what we're going to do is, we're going to show the audience my mind-reading skills. What I want you to do is I want you to pick one card, say any film. There are all the cards, if you show the audience, the cards of famous horror films. So just pick one. And then the other cards, just hand to my beautiful assistant. Okay, now that card, turn it round. And there's a list of films on the back of that card. I want you to read 8 of the film titles on the back of that card, including the name of the card that you picked. Okay? Including the name. And I am going to be able to pick by reading your mind. As long as you take it seriously, and you have to concentrate. Because if you don't concentrate, you don't take it seriously, it's not going to work. So, an audience, please no laughter, this is really serious. I have to use my 8 powers and concentrate. Okay, Philip. Read the 8 titles, including the title of the film you picked, and I will be able to psychically work out which film it is.
Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Wolfman, Frankenstein, The Birds, The Fly, and The Mummy.
Okay, so taking me seriously, there's some psychic confusion going on. Someone in this audience is psychically blocking. Can you just, now hold on. Hold on. I feel the flapping of energy, it's like the flapping of birds. Was it the birds? Oh my God, the okay, thanks to those Himalayan monks who told me so much. Now, for being such a good sport, John, will you reach into the bag and find a nice prize, which is yellow and half. Yellow and half. No! It's shaped like a banana.
Oh.
Just one.
Just one.
Thank you.
Okay, now, for my next illusion. This involves everybody. Now, what you're going to do is, we'll just hold on to it, we'll do this in a minute, so we're going to do a very special illusion. I'm going to show you a disc, a magic spinning disc of blue. You must stare into the disc as it spins. Stare into the disc for about 30 seconds to maybe even a minute. Keep staring, do not blink. And when I remove the disc, you will look at my face. And my face will have to grow massively. I'll shrink in front of you. There it is. That's it. So you ready? Sorry, my sister forgotten something. I'm just going to have to beat it. Here it is. Spinning disc of blue. So, you have to stare into this, do not stare away, stare into the disc until I move it away from myself, and then look at my face. And as long as you keep staring into this, as long as you don't blink, you'll see something pretty cool. Here you go, keep staring. Simeon, intermission magician. Now doing his tough illusion. He's not getting paid for this. He's getting very angry. He's staring into the spinning disc. Staring. Like spinning disc with blue. Just get lost into the spinning disc. Lost in the spiral into your own mind. I will now move the disc away and look into my face. Was it bigger or smaller? Bigger. How big did I never see this? How big did it was? Is it pretty cool? Okay, now let's do the raffle. These are the films. This is how they came when you bought them in the shop. The films that you saw. So this is 200 bucks. And someone was asking earlier, like, what were these? These were just, this was before VHS, DVDs. And probably the heyday was the 70s. And what you saw, the colour was really good. But the quality, they churned these out by the thousands, tens, 20s, maybe hundreds of thousands. So the prints were like dupes, there were copies of copies of copies. So even when I was trying to get the film in focus, I was focusing on something that wasn't in focus in the first place. But they were a lot of fun, and they're quite collectible now. The films are pretty wild, but that's what they were. And anyhow, it was just nice to watch them all together for the first time. It should produce. Anyhow, we're going to give away some fake cigarettes. Why not?
You can walk away with fake cigarettes.
2 fake puff cigarettes. Films, all about the old movies. It's a nice Planet the Apes stuff as well. Frankenstein. That.
Oh, yes.
So, this beautiful magazine. The number is. We'll have very. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be throughout the night, so I think it'll be very interesting. And then 2 weeks after that, we've got Vampire Circus, Fantastic Hammer Horror, which is really crazy, and then Dark Star with that. We're going to show an abridged version, a 30-minute version of Dark Star. It's a full-length vampire circus. And then 2 weeks after that, they're all on the flyer, we've got a really interesting film. It's the only spaghetti western that the UK's ever made. And it stars Raquel Welch, Robert Culp, Ernest Borgnine, so Hanny Calder. Really good. Got crazy cast. It's even got Christopher Lee playing an American. And it's spaghetti western. It's a revenge story. Raquel Welch is out to go after the guys who attacked her early in the film. It's a stone print. It's beautiful colour. So it's going to look really cool. And that's late in October. It's all on this year. So we're going to do another. Let's do a banana. Let's do a banana. Okay, who's going to win this beautiful banana?
Monster Magazine's in
On the DVD Blu-ray set from, I think it's for the 35th anniversary from 20th Century Fox, I did a text commentary about the original film. So if you're interested in my musings about the films, there's all kinds of ways of finding it. But I've had these Super 8 films, but I've never seen them projected before. So I'm really thankful to you and your team for showing them publicly and giving us a magic show on top. So
And a banana!
Excited to see so many people who come out on a Friday night for a little nostalgic look at the Apes. So great seeing you all.
It's fantastic.
Gotta come correct to an Ape show.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're going to do, what's the other thing? Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going to,
That's your time.
yeah. Okay, this is Jill, actually found. I do a festival called Movies to Love. We raise money for breast cancer charity. We show like exploitation films, all good, for the format stuff. It started as a film script. And then I just thought, well, why not turn it into a film festival? Because without a film festival, it's like time traveling film festival. A bit like a time to film festival. But anyhow, this is an original still from that script, as I changed the still. And then 2 fake cigarettes. And it is.
474. 2 minutes.
2 bananas. Look at these. Ready to go, specials. Good to go.
485.
One more trip. Oh, this is one, a little friend of mine. My mouth. This is my skill. I can talk with my mouth. How is this so? Well, I am skilled not only in illusions, but also skilled. Charlie. Hey Charlie, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Hey, you're really good this year. Let's go. No, I didn't feel good at all. Even when I talk normally, how do you sound? I don't know. Well, maybe it's a trick. Maybe good. Yeah, I haven't even rehearsed this. Is that possible? Yeah. Wait. Anyhow, that's my illusion, and that's Charlie. All right, let's do one more time.
Oh, one more card.
Yeah, we'll do one more time. And you can remember the audience. So we're going to do just to show first one wasn't free. I want to get my breath because it takes all my psychic powers. It takes a lot of energy. So much. It does. Take it seriously. Oh, I'm settled down. Okay. I think I can do one more.
All right.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Might pass out. If I do, you're not to be projected. Okay, so we need one more member of the audience to come on down. Come on. Okay.
Yeah.
Your favorite film. One thing, you don't have to be your favorite. If you don't think it's your favorite, maybe I know you have to guess. Pick anything. You have to be serious and you have to concentrate, because otherwise you just have to put those simple waves. You have to put the waves of stress and you can too much energy in the space. It's really serious. Okay, Mr. Edward. on the picture card?
I sure did.
Okay, can you read out 7 film titles, including the card you picked? And we'll use your brain for 3.
Alright. Alright, here we go. Blair Witch, The Shining, Carrie, Birds, Dawn of the Dead, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Babadook, Black Moon, Alien, Child's Play, The Omen, Poltergeist, Reanimated, Rosemary, Peter Jackson, Get On Song. I read all that.
That was fast.
Was
That was fast. Okay. No, like, explode? Oh, really? Explode? Alien?
Yes!
Whoa! You took that so quickly, you got me out. And no one catches smooth. Okay. Alright, give it away. And then the monster. You don't believe it. It's all what it says. I mean, you're thinking I just go to like some place like an Magic Apple here and just buy a trip for $45. That place, who the hell would do that? It's much better to crash into the Himalayan mountains and then a month straight you're out in Shangri-La and teach you their sacred magic tricks. You ever go on a trip, ladies and gentlemen? They call it rituals. Anyhow, so we had a lot of fun. I did some magic, I did some ventriloquism, which took a lot of energy, and I'm actually sapped out of energy. My ceiling in energy level is probably like, what, 6, 5, 4,
7.
3, 2, 1. Let's get on to the second part of the show. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Those commercials were only made for British cinemas. That's why you see the little rating in the corner, say used to or something like that. So they were just purely for the cinema market. I have lots of those. So yeah, don't leave. Sean will do a bit more raffle. I'm not going to wear my mask. I'm going to so you can actually see what I look like. It's kind of weird. I think wearing that mask all the time. But yeah, and this projector is an Elmo GS 1200. It's like the top of the line of. But anyhow, yeah, I love the whole Super 8 thing. I think it's a lot of fun. I think there's so many, like that Rowan Atkinson short, which was actually made for this. It was made for the world market. This was before Mr. Bean was a TV series, and they wanted to sell it. The idea around the world, so they made this short film. I can't remember what it came out, what it was a support for. But I managed to buy it many years ago. It was a German, it's German credits, because a lot of Super 8 continued in Germany about, I think, into the 90s, whereas the rest of the world had died off in the early 80s. So you can, believe it or not, you can get on Super 8, and most of the, James Bond after Chris Brosnan. You can get most of the Brosnan films on Super 8 scope. You can get Titanic on Super 8. You can get Terminator 2. What year were they? Terminator 2. What,
91.
Yeah, Titanic was
97.
Yeah,
1997.
Yeah, that's towards the end of like getting things on Super 8. There's still a guy in America who does Super 8 prints, but they come at crazy prices. Like he'll do like a 30-minute version of Jaws. The prints are great, but they cost I think about $450 for about 30 minutes of Jaws, which seems a bit pointless.
But those ones in the 90s were for consumers.
Oh yeah, for consumers, yes. And you could tell the quality changed. You know, like when the Planet of the Apes ones were mass produced. So I think, as I was saying earlier, they were you get a print. It was a print off a print off a print off a print. So it was a dupe. So it was just not. They didn't care. Whereas later on, a lot of the features that I'll be showing were made by smaller companies. There was a famous company called Derren, which was Derrick and Ann, and they were a great company in the UK, and they released most of the films I've been talking about, feature films. I've got things like Pinocchio, I have Sound of Music. terms of programming, I never really know what to screen. But I've got a beautiful print of Sound of Music, which could be a sing-along, and it's a scope print, and that was a Darren release, meaning it's as good as a 16mm print. It's really sharp, and often when they're soft, it's because the print was soft that they took it off, and they didn't really care. Like the Sinbad one, that was a mass-produced thing. It's fun to watch. They usually cut them down, but yeah, moving towards what we're programming, what you see on our little calendar is yeah, some of the better stuff. It's a lot of the features, and it's crazy. Like Day the Triffids, I've probably got one of the better prints available out, even though it's on Super 8. We showed the first screening, which was 2 weeks ago. We showed Helter Skelter, which was about the Manson murders. And there was the mini-series in the 70s, a lot of people will have seen, but they made a theatrical version for the European and UK market, which had a little bit of nudity, more violence, and actually had the F word, which you couldn't show that on CBS. And so that was released as a film in Europe, more violence and swearing and nudity. But you try and find that version as a print, the theatrical version, it doesn't exist. I've never been able to find it. The only thing that exists is a 30-minute Super 8 version of that theatrical version. So we screened that, and the print was really good quality, wasn't it?
Great color.
Yeah, great colour in that. So every now and again there are things that sort of seem to only exist on Super 8, or at least in a good quality. And often the colour holds up better with Super 8 because even though there's a lot of 16mm prints, they were mass-produced, so Eastman colour prints, which fade. Whereas Super 8 were made by like companies like Darren, which was this small family-run companies, they would put them on Agfa stock or low fade stock. They took more care than the mass-produced stuff that was going out to film libraries, student libraries, college film shows. So often Super 8 is the best way of pitching. Yes, please come. Super 8 often is the best way. And this is a fantastic venue. I mean, look at it. It's what is it? Roughly about 40 seats. We've got tiered seating, which you don't get in a lot of places. So you sat behind someone you can't see. So generally speaking, we're really lucky finding this venue. I do festivals with my good friend John. We do the Animation Festival, Los Angeles Animation Festival. And we have all our volunteers, Sean, Jared out there, everyone. We do festivals here. We've been doing it for a few years here. So there's a bigger theatre upstairs. But the nice thing about this space is that there's a shorter throw. So even though it's a smaller screen, upstairs, what is it like from the projector? From the seats to the screen.
From the seats to the screen,
It's what? 15? No, 20 feet.
about maybe a little more. It
No,
depends
more.
where the
Yeah,
seat you're
the
sitting.
screen's really far away. It's massive, but it's far away. So it doesn't actually feel as big as this. And this reminds me of when I was a kid. You had the big cinema, but then there were the two other, I don't know if it was the same here. You had the big cinemas and then they started chopping them up, didn't they? Yeah. And usually they had screen 1 was still like 1,000 seats, and screen 2 and 3 had sort of like 130. And this reminds me of those smaller screens, and it's a nice intimate place. So, I mean, everyone that gave their email addresses, you'll be on a mailing list. But we're trying to make this, I mean, this is just it's a hobby, really. I mean, as long as I can get enough people to break even, I'm happy, and then the money goes towards booking the next one and the next one and the next one. But if you can promote it to your friends and tell them that, it was a good fun show, and if ever I'm always thinking of different things. I had, it's like doing matinees or doing something for kids. I've got a lot of cartoons. I have a lot of children's films from the 70s. And I have Pinocchio, the Disney one, beautiful print. Really, really nice. Maybe we'll screen it before the animation festival, something like that. Yeah, so I have a whole bunch of things. As I'm talking, I'm getting very serious. I'm suddenly aware of the fact that it tastes like eyes. Not with the tux, that's completely bizarre. But no, this has been a dream of mine forever. I mean, I went to the UK last month, and I visited one of there's only 2 remaining Super 8 stores in the world. One in Paris, and there's another one in Cleethorpes, which is up north where I am, but it's a small old seaside community. It's like going back to the 1950s. It's all fish and chip shops and, you know, cotton candy and people on the beach with buckets and spades. But there's a guy there who has a shop and he sells Super 8 projectors and Super 8 films. And so I visited him and I did this little podcast, which I haven't promoted yet. But I didn't want to buy a projector off him, but he said he would probably get smashed, you know, being shipped because they can't insure it. I mean, these things, they're beasts inside. They're wonderful machines, but so anyhow, he was a very interesting guy. There's a lot of interest in Super 8 from a lot of young filmmakers, but what they don't do is project. They film with Super 8. They film with Super 8 cameras, but they don't project. So I'm trying to reach out to those filmmakers and say, get a print and project it, because it's fun projecting it. And even if you don't have the actual audio, you can talk over and you can tell us, like, you know, maybe in the intermission or at the end of a screening, we could get a filmmaker who shot something and we can project it and they can just do a little, you know, 5-minute talk, you know, about what they've shot. So I'm just trying to develop what I'm saying. I'm trying to develop what I do into something that's a community-based thing. So whether or not we have kids matinees or just anything, you know, anything that's sort of themed, I just want it to be a fun thing and a regular thing. And so I hope you don't mind. Check your junk folders every now and again, because I know a lot of the, you know, whenever I do mail out and stuff, they end up going in people's junk folders. Not everyone gets them, but it's usually something about this, about ideas I want to do, and I want to involve you guys, you know, in terms of what I show. I mean, I picked, you know, you've got the calendar, and I just randomly picked a whole bunch of films, but I've got some anyway, and I don't know what's going to appeal to people. You know, I have things that have never really had a proper screening over here as well. There's some great movies that are absolutely they're seen as they're very popular in the UK. Films like The Railway Children. Have you heard of that with Jenny Agutter? And it was a very popular film in the 1970s, early 70s, and it spawned a remake, 2 sequels, and a West End play. Actually, they had the play in a real train station, and they brought a real train in. But I have that. I have things like Tales of Beatrix Potter, which was a children's film, which was turned into a ballet based on the Beatrix Potter stories, and it's beautiful. And I have all these rare things that I know a lot of people have seen, like the Carry On films. Has anyone ever seen a Carry On film? Okay, so you know it's Carry Ons made more money at the box office than James Bond films. That's how popular they were. And they're just double entendre film. They were an innuendo film, but they're a lot of fun. They're very camp, and I've got a whole bunch of them. And they're very, I guess, un-PC. You know, I've got one especially called Carry On Up the Jungle. It's got a couple of blackface characters. But they are of their time period. You've got to see that. You can't watch them. But I think there are a lot of films like the midnight. We call it the midnight, but it's the late night thing that we're doing a month's time. That's going to be all the British humour from the 70s. And we'll have the place dressed out, you know, with bunting, with the Union Jack, just have some fun. So really, I'm just. Oh.
You have any of the British sci-fi series like Train Miles?
No, well, no, because they were the only sci-fi I've got the Champions, which was we're showing that with that place. No, not that place. Hanny Calder. I think it's Hanny Calder. The Champions was a. No,
Oh yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. The Champions was a British. There was a guy who made series like The Saint, Roger Moore, and The Persuaders, Roger Moore and Tony Curtis. I forgot his name, but they used to make a lot of these shows. Well, I think he was involved in them. Yeah, it was all through his company. But The Champions was a series about, it was actually a plane crashed in the Himalayas, and they got dragged out and saved by some monks. And they were given these special powers. But with it being a series from 1968, the special powers were usually to jump really high, which was them just jumping off a building but in reverse. That was about it. And I think they had telekinetic powers as well. So basically my act. It was my stupid act. But we've got that. I have some rare stuff. I even have things like I've got Doctor Who. I've got the 2 Doctor Who films with Peter Cushing, So that's, and one of them's really good colour. The colour's amazing. I have a lot of German film. The thing is, German prints are great. I have the spaghetti westerns, but they're in German. So like we showed last time, we showed Dawn of the Dead, which was in German, a 20-minute version. And we passed the mic around and people did their own translation. So again, you know, when you just play along with it, I mean, if it's a good print, it was a lot of fun. Anyhow, okay, that's my little pitch. I hope you get involved. I hope you come back. Day the Triffids particularly, because that is, these prints don't last forever, right? I remember looking at some of these prints, and it doesn't matter how you take care of them. It's the quality of the actual film stock that's most important. You can keep them in a hot garage or a really cool dark place. If the film stock's pretty cheap, they will fade. And Day the Triffids is not the best film stock, but the colour's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's the best, and it's scope. So I hope not look for that. So let's do a bit more of the raffles. This Hollywood Horror Fest presents. This is the thing that Nadav and I do, which is one of the festivals I run is Hollywood Horror Fest, and we started distributing some of the films that came to the festival because, well, one we started doing. Nadav's a really good, a great friend, and he's a great film distributor. And when I say great, a lot of film distributors rip people off, and he doesn't. He's so honest. Well, he wouldn't be my friend if he wasn't. And he's been supporting the festival and everything we've done for years and years and years. So we started releasing some of the stuff, and this is one of the Blu-rays called French Blood, Mr. Pig. Definitely not a kids' film, but it's a good little horror thing if you like extreme horror. And the winner of this is
447.
447.
Bigger.
Bigger. All right. We'll get. Ooh. So I'm going to do it in reverse. How is that possible? I love this. Okay, so did anyone not get it? Did anyone not see the illusion? It didn't work for you because it doesn't always work. Oh, it did, Carol?
Yeah.
Was it good? Did it really work?
Yeah.
Okay. They should have these by the freeway, shouldn't they? Let people drive it. All right, here we go. Okay, do it in reverse. So ready, and here we go. Yeah, that's speed. We'll just stare into it. I think for the best effect, you sort of get lulled into it. You just stare into the middle and don't really focus on the middle. You get lost in the spinning. Don't blink. Don't look away. Just get lost. Should have this in the doctor's